Welcome to Key's Guide to Freedom, the podcast where mindset meets money, time meets tech, and sovereignty isn't just a concept, it's a lifestyle. I'm your host, TK, author, creator, and digital freedom strategist. In today's episode, we're diving into a conversation that could change the way you see your online life, because in 2025, freedom isn't just physical, it's digital. And if you don't control your time, your money, your knowledge, and your identity, someone else will. Let's break down the sovereignty stack, explore what digital independence really means, and give you a blueprint to reclaim your power, layer by layer. Let's get into it. Digital freedom in 2025 seems like a basic human right, but here's the shocking reality. Over 80% of people have zero control over their own data, time, or digital identity. Today, we're exploring how that's about to change dramatically.
That statistic is terrifying when you think about it. Just this morning, I tried accessing my investment account while traveling and got completely locked out. Made me realize how fragile our digital autonomy really is.
Let's dive into this framework called the sovereignty stack, which is gaining traction. It breaks digital freedom into four critical layers: time, money, knowledge, and identity. What's fascinating is how these elements work together to create true digital independence.
Hmm, that reminds me of Maslow's hierarchy, but for the digital age. Where should we start unpacking this?
Well, it all begins with time sovereignty, and there's this revolutionary concept called the freedom hour. Studies show that people who implement this practice see a 40% increase in their sense of control over their lives.
Tell me more about how that works in practice.
Think of it as your daily digital detox and strategy session combined. It's one non negotiable hour where you're completely unreachable. No phones, no emails, no interruptions. The data shows that just this one change can reduce stress levels by up to 30%.
You know what's interesting about that? The World Economic Forum recently reported that the average knowledge worker is interrupted 73 times per day. How does this Freedom Hour concept address that?
Exactly right. And here's where it gets powerful. The Freedom Hour isn't just about avoiding interruptions, it's about creating what neuroscientists call deep work states. Research shows these states are 500% more productive than regular work periods.
So this connects to financial sovereignty too, right? Because time and money are so interlinked in our digital economy.
Absolutely, and this is where the framework gets really interesting. Recent studies show that 67% of people have no backup plan if their primary financial accounts are frozen. The stack introduces a three-tier approach to financial sovereignty using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology.
But with all the volatility in crypto markets, how does that create more stability?
Here's the key distinction. We're not talking about speculation. The framework recommends a 70-20-10 split: 70% in cold storage for long term holdings, 20% in hot wallets for regular transactions, and only 10% for active trading or investments.
That's fascinating. And it ties into the knowledge sovereignty piece too, doesn't it?
Exactly. The framework integrates AI as a learning tool, but here's the surprising part. Studies show that people who use AI as a thinking partner rather than a solution provider improve their decision making accuracy by 42%.
How do you maintain that balance between AI assistance and independent thinking?
The key is in the questioning technique. Instead of asking AI for answers, you use what's called the Socratic method, asking progressively deeper questions. This approach has shown to increase critical thinking skills by 35% in just 30 days.
That's really powerful. And I imagine this enhanced thinking helps with managing digital identity too.
This is where everything comes together. The framework introduces something called identity partitioning, using blockchain based tools to create separate digital identities for different contexts. Early adopters report an 85% reduction in unwanted data exposure.
Could you break down how that works in everyday situations? And
Think of it like having different keys for different doors. Using tools like Sign In with Ethereum, you can create distinct identity profiles, one for financial transactions, another for social media, another for professional networking. Each reveals only what's necessary for that context.
That's incredible. But how do people manage all these different identities effectively?
The framework suggests using what's called a digital identity hub, a secure, encrypted space where all your identities are managed. Early testing shows this reduces identity theft risk by 92% compared to traditional methods.
Looking at all four elements together, what's the biggest impact you've seen?
The most striking statistic is this: people who implement all four layers of the stack report a 73% increase in their sense of digital autonomy within just 90 days. But here's the catch: it has to be implemented systematically.
What would you say to someone just starting this journey?
Start with the Freedom Hour. It's the foundation everything else builds on. Research shows that people who successfully implement this first step are 300% more likely to complete the entire stack successfully.
That makes it feel more manageable. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Remember this: digital freedom isn't just about privacy or security, it's about design. The data shows that people who actively design their digital lives are 4 times more likely to feel in control of their future than those who don't. Start small, but start today. So there it is, your roadmap to digital freedom in 2025 and beyond. If today's episode sparked something in you, don't just listen, build. Download the Freedom Builder Toolkit at keystowfreedom.com/toolkit. Join the Freedom Frequency newsletter to stay in the loop with tools, strategies, and drops that help you live free by design. Digital freedom isn't a privilege, it's your birthright. But you've got to claim it, one decision, one system, 1 hour at a time. Until next time, stay sharp.